What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only, Ash Said It. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. Welcome to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys for all of your love and support. Over 1,600 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. None of that would be possible without you guys, so I thank you so very much. And yes, spring is in the air and wonderfulness is here, but COVID has not gone anywhere, people, so we need to be safe, and we need to be making sure that we're keeping our family safe as well. So today I've got with me the amazing founder and CEO of HMNKind, the wonderful Sinead Kim. Hey, Sinead.
Hi there, Ash. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. So, Sinead, what part of the country are you at today?
I'm actually based in Los Angeles. I grew up in Texas, but I got here about 5 years ago to start my business.
Yes.
So I'm in California.
Oh, beautiful California. I envy you right now, Sinead. That weather, I mean...
It is gorgeous out here.
Year-round. I'm actually in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's kind of dreary today. It's kind of rainy and kind of muggy out. I would much rather be out there.
I love Atlanta, though. I love Atlanta.
Normally, yeah, Atlanta it's one of those, it's a temperamental city, Sinead. Like, you know, it when it's good, it's great. But when it's not, it's something else.
Oh, yeah. Well, I grew up in Houston, so when you say temperamental, I mean, it faces all the good and the bad. So.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Now, to start things off, Sinead, I know that you and everyone else has been glued to the television and just hearing all the headlines everywhere. As a Korean American, what goes through your mind when you see these horrific anti-Asian attacks?
Honestly, it's something that it's so heartbreaking, and it just is something that, like, I'm Korean American, but I'm also a woman, and I'm also a pregnant woman right now. So it's just so real and so painful. So right now, to be really honest, I try not to delve too deeply, because there's so much happening right now. I mean, I know we were at, who's counting at this point, but 3,000 hate crimes last year alone against Asians. And what it really does, though, for me is it makes me wonder, like, what can I do? And so when I see the faces of the victims, it's something that, I see my family, I see my friends, I see myself. And so it is overwhelming, but I think that, I like to hold on to hope. I do believe, and I have a faith, and I do believe that we can take personal responsibility, every single one of us, to be the change that we need to see, because we know we have a lot of work to do ourselves, but I think, I like to focus, being an entrepreneur too, I stay positive, and I try to stay proactive in terms of, like, being action oriented and thinking, like, well, how can I be a part of the solution? And one of those things, for example, that I think I can do is continue to put my kids in a more diverse environment, and not shield them from everything, and try to have those important conversations. Because as a mother, as a business leader, it's something that I realize I have a huge opportunity to make an impact for good for this type of issue. And so, I honestly, I can't keep reading about these things, but it's important, and the work is being done. Like, I see so many people standing up. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the solidarity, for the support. But at the same time, I told my mother-in-law, I'm like, please don't go to K-Town by yourself. Like, we'll go grocery shopping together. Like, it's silly. Like, we shouldn't be feeling that way.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's heartbreaking, because it's like, when I see the news and you see all these things going on, it's not like, oh, I see an Asian American, oh, I see a Black American, I see a Korean American. I see Americans. I see people, and it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking to see. So hopefully, like you said, we're turning the corner, and we're just going to continue to just put positive vibes out there. Every one person, if you see some wrongdoing happening, you have an obligation to step in and intervene, even if it's not you intervening yourself, if it's just calling the cops and, getting authorities in place for things. If you see something, say something. I think that makes a huge difference.
Thank you.
Yeah. But so Sinead, let's talk about the inspiration behind HMNKind. What was that for you?
Yes. So HMNKind, I mean, the name in and of itself is about people.
Right.
And one of the things we felt, especially through the pandemic, was how important it is to be connected, how important it is for all of us to take steps to protect each other, not just ourselves. I mean, just wearing a mask is an act of love for yourself and for others. Mm-hmm. And so when we started making masks, I'm actually, my husband and I own a fashion company in LA. That's why we came to LA for women's apparel. Yeah. And we have 2 brands that we run here. And we converted our sample making team in LA and our warehouse into a mask making operation a week or 2 after shutdown started to happen. And that process really got us intimately involved in what we need in a mask. So, just like I said, entrepreneurs, we try to solve problems, and I was having to wear them all day coming out into the business, into the field, because of I didn't have the luxury of staying work from home, because our business is very tangible, very product driven. Mm-hmm. And as we were working on masks, cotton masks at the time, we realized that cotton was not that great. The CDC does recommend a 3-layered cotton mask, but it dried out the skin. It would smell after some time because the bacteria would build up. We were wearing our masks all day, unlike some people who just needed to, run to a grocery store. So HMNKind evolved from this need, this gap, where we saw that we just wanted something better to wear all day long. And then obviously with the naming of it, it was like, well, what's the point? Why are we doing that? Because I think there was a lot of darkness in the pandemic. There was a lot of questioning as to our values, as to why do we do what we do? And by answering those important questions and to get through that darkness and to try to create some kind of purpose through the pandemic, it was such a process and a journey that we realized, we're doing this for people. We're doing HMNKind is going to be about people. So last year when we launched it, we had dedicated 10% of our business to fight racism. And then this year we've actually also learned so much about just the food insecurity issues that are facing mostly Black and Hispanic people, and realized that was another direct way we could really support. So now we're supporting the LA Food Bank. 10% of our business is going there because we realized we need to do something and be very proactive about it. And so the whole inspiration behind HMNKind was to take good actions, to be kind, to think of others and not just yourself. And that's actually very empowering. So that helped us get through. It was a bleak time, but it gave us hope. It gave us the energy to show up and, to put ourselves in a space with others with less fear, because we knew what we were doing was important. Yeah. And then the giving back and realizing that we're a community and that we can be very intentional about how we help others, especially other people. So that's what HMNKind is all about, and that's why we named it HMNKind.
Yes, wow. That is absolutely amazing, for it to come from something kind of small, the small little idea, to now it's this big company. And I wanted to ask, with you going into this brand and in just really going all into it, you didn't halfway do it, you didn't kind of sidestep into it, you were like, you know what, we're going to go into mask making, where we're going to make this happen. It was a huge investment on your part. Were you nervous about that whole, jumping into it and that huge investment?
Yes, 100%. I am still struggling with those big decisions because resources always feel limited, right? Especially now. Our apparel business was blowing and growing for the first 4 years. We're now 5.5 years in. Yeah. And we had just seen a whole period of growth, and that's all we knew was growing. And then suddenly that was gone overnight. So every decision I was making felt so much more severe. So in terms of huge investment, I think that all of us needed to decide where we were going to invest the limited resources we all had. And as a business owner, you know, you can talk about money and time. And it was something, though, it's almost like I needed it, though. I needed to be focused on this in order to get through. And if I look back, like, honestly, monetarily, it was a huge risk. It was a huge investment. But at the same time, like, it's so exciting to ultimately see the benefits that the people who wear our HMNKind masks have. And we're seeing it now being worn, you know, at dance competitions and people doing hiking and golfing, and just their new lifestyle is, you know, very active. It seems like, and we're a part of that now. So that investment is paying off, but in different ways. It may not be like very financial right now. It's still an investment, you know, and that's something that you have to realize is sometimes when you take a step, that road is going to be longer than you think. You know, there was no overnight success here. As much as people saw a boom in mask businesses popping up left and right, it was that saturated so quickly. It just became, it was important, though. We all felt we needed to do something about it, and many companies did pivot, and we were one of them. So, you know, honestly, that kind of decision-making is very much about the core of becoming a leader in business and being a female entrepreneur. I think being a female in general, there are, we kind of have an extra, I think, leg in terms of decision-making because there's so many sacrifices we make. Like just in our lives, like as a parent, as an adult, as a woman. And so having to weigh what you're able to give and what you're able to invest is something that I think we do have a little bit of a leg up, but at the same time, it doesn't mean it's easy. So yeah, it was a big one, but at the same time, it's like, if you're going to do business, you have to be passionate about what you do.
You got to jump
and that passion comes with that drive and the belief and saying, hey, I'm going to do the math and I'm hoping this math works out, but otherwise I'm going to put 120% of my heart.
And I mean, it just shows the belief that you had and the faith that you had, because a lot of people, you know, in your same situation may not have jumped. They may have been like, you know what, that could be for something else, or we could figure out something else with it. But something in you knew that, you know what, this is exactly what I'm supposed to do. So kudos to you.
You know, I thank you so much. You know, I appreciate you saying that. It's hard to remember that on the hard days, you know. It's hard to remember that kind of like courage that I had in the beginning, because it is scary, and you know, COVID came back pretty hard in December and January, and it's one of those weird things where you don't want it to, but then your business is growing in that period, and then COVID is actually, you know, vaccines are coming out, and so actually the mask, let's say, trend is less important. People aren't looking for masks as much because they're looking to get a COVID vaccine, which is wonderful. So there is, like, that's also a very interesting part of this business. You know, my aunt, who used to be a florist, said I had to get out of the business because every time there was a funeral, I was expecting business. Or, you know, like it's like this weird. So in that way, like, I'm rooting for this vaccine. I'm rooting for us to get out of this pandemic. But at the same time, it will mean, like, HMNKind will need to shift again very soon. So, you know, it's, it's hard to remember sometimes how courageous I was in the beginning. And I don't think most people think of themselves as that, as brave. But it comes back down to when you're running a business and realizing, like, why you're doing something, those questions have to be answered sometimes, all the time. So
I love it. Sinead, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you so much. your good energy, your good vibrations. We appreciate that. So Sinead, let everyone know the best way that they can, of course, check out the mask to get their favorite mask, and also how to follow you guys on social media.
Thank you, Ash. So you guys can follow us on Instagram. We can be found at, it's spelled HMNKind, Kind, and with an underscore. So that's our Instagram handle, and you are welcome to join us and see what's going on www.HMNKind, spelled HMN Kind, KIND.com, and we do have a little journal there, and we are really excited about what we do at our company. So we'd love to connect with you. Send us a message there, and send us or DM us on Instagram. And I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm the one responding. So thank you so much, Ash, for this opportunity. It was a pleasure and an honor to talk to you. Aww. And thank you for making this platform for me. I know that you really are out there putting out, like you said, the good vibes, but also creating a space for people like me, a Korean American woman who's just trying to make it out there, Yeah. So I really, really appreciate that and feel very honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, I know, being a small business owner myself, I know just the stresses and just, a portion of what some of you guys are doing. But when I see a woman, women, we do so much today. We do so much, and we don't get nearly as much credit. We don't get nearly as much recognition. So when I see a woman like yourself that's doing things and just making her own waves and, just making things happen, it fills my heart. And I'm like, I want to talk to her. I want to hear more about this company. I want to hear more about this brand. So you keep on being a rock star, all right? And you keep doing major things.
Thank you. You too. You too. Thank you so much.
No, thanks. And thank you to each and every one of you guys for all of your love and support. Keeping this podcast going. I wouldn't be doing it if you guys weren't supporting it and weren't downloading and sharing and all that good stuff. So keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face. You tell them, don't believe me. Don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Mm-hmm. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. All right? Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.